Hello YouTube, welcome to part 3 of the overhaul or modification of a Hornby Terrier. As stated in the first two parts, this was in A1 condition and the task was to make it into as it is now, which is A1X preservation condition. So in the last video you saw the various bits being added, like the smoke box, the bunker extension rails, etc., and some of the pipe work which has gone on top of the boiler, as well as the dome moving forward. And that was basically where we left it last time. We're still quite a lot to go with the sandboxes just being fitted. As you can see now, it's slightly more complete, not quite finished, but we're getting there. But I'm going to take you through some other little bits that I've done since the last video. So we'll start on the top of the boiler. Now last time you saw various extra new pipes just behind the dome, which you can see here, which are now all completely finished. So as I showed you last time, the adapters, if you like, where the pipes go into, as well as the controls going towards the cab, they were made out of O-gauge handrail holders or knobs, and they've now been blackened with some chemical blackening from birchwood Casey, which I think you can pick up from most places, including Amazon now. And that you just dip the brass into the fluid and it turns it black. And that's how I've left it at the moment, and it looks quite nice. So I've done all 3 of those and they're all nicely fitted. And you can also see the extra pipe work from the cab to the smoke box. That's all been done according to photos that I could find online. And you can also see the handrails being refitted along here. I also had to find an extra short handrail knob to put in on the other side, as that was slightly different to what was on it originally. You can also see the exhaust domes or the condensing domes on top of the tanks have been removed. I still need to fill the hole, which I will do in the next weekend or so, which only take me about 5 minutes to do. So that's all been done and everything else put back in place. So if you've been watching the other tutorials on my workbench videos, I also showed the etch plates for this being painted up, as I thought it might be quite interesting for people to find out how to paint etch plates, etc. So I have finished mine, and you can see here you have the builder's plate at the top, which goes on the splasher, and the cab plates, which is underneath that, which go on the bunker sides of the cab. These are from EB models, exclusive Brighton models I believe. Only £4, and they come unpainted, which is why I did a little video on how to paint etch plates. So they will be put in place very shortly. They're this sort of crowning or topping out ceremony of finishing this model. They'll be fitted with some clear varnish, which I like to use these days, as it doesn't leave any marks, no paints or super glue marks or whatever. So on the rear of the cab I have also glued and fitted the bunker extension rails on the back, but also I have fitted the window guards. Now these are from a very old etch, which is from mainly trains, which you can see here. You get various sizes and types. Unfortunately there wasn't any 4 bars, so I had to go for a 6, which is the closest thing I could find on this etch itself. And these etches are now available from a Wizard, so Wizard models, so if you need some, go and have a look on there. But they've been attached with some varnish as well, and again they have been blackened beforehand in the blackening brass fluid which I used, and they've then been varnished in place, and there is no glue holding them in place, it's just the varnish. I still need to add some coal in the bunker, or else we're not going to go anywhere, so that's another small job to be finished over a weekend. In the cab I've actually fitted some nice cast crew, which are painted crew, which I've purchased from my local model shop upstairs, downstairs in Sandown. These are from P&D Marsh models, so about £9.50. There's two pairs of crews, so one in here and one in my S15, which has just been repainted. The floor in here has also been repainted, as well as the reverser and the water glasses on the back of the back head on the in the cab. So that's nicely done and finished. While we're still in this area as well, you can see I've added the sanding pipes on the sand boxes and have been painted blood red. I've also done that on the front. If I move across, you can see that on the front as well. So that's all been done and finished and ready to go. And all the lamp irons are in place now as well, and they have been chemically blackened, so no need to paint them either. So moving to the front of the model now, I have also modified the smoke box saddle on this, which I've mentioned before, as it was getting in the way of the wheels. So as per like Hornby's models, they have got a curve now going in sync with the splasher, so that all fits together quite nicely. But the other thing that I was going to do, and I also have mentioned it on a previous video, I believe it's the painting teak workbench video, which may have been the last or the one before that back, but I had a small delivery from Shapeways. Now I'm also a little bit disappointed with Hornby's models in terms of when they have a brass capped chimney, and this one is no different. So we have just a lovely painted copper top to this model. Nice, but unlike Bachmann's, they are usually actually copper topped chimneys. So I've done a little bit of experimenting. I've finally done a small print in sort of a bronze material from Shapeways, and I had that delivered last week. So I received a small package from Shapeways, which came in an interesting little black bag here. So what I've done, as I have modified and 3D printed various bits of this model, I also made a chimney just in case it was a taller chimney, which it wasn't. It was the shorter type, so I could use the original chimney. But what I also did was made the whole chimney as well as the top part, so that meant I could take it off and 3D print the top part in a different material. So from Shapeways I purchased this. So this is a bronze cast material or 3D printed metal, so it's got a quite high content of copper. Now it's not completely copper, it looks a bit brassy gold in the colour, but hopefully when it dulls down a little bit it will just look like polished copper. So hopefully, to top this logo off, I will again cut off the top of the chimney and glue this in place, and hopefully it will look a lot nicer. Now I'm looking at making these available for anybody who wants to print their own or modify their own chimneys so it looks a little bit nicer. So there's a little modification part if you wish to buy and then fit yourself. So all I'm going to have to do is cut off the copper top on this one, on this chimney, and drill a small hole and glue this in place. So we'll have a look how that looks in just a moment. So I have chopped off the top of the chimney. I have also cleaned it up slightly inside and added a bit of 2.4 mil diameter polystyrene tube, which is from Evergreen Scale Models, item number 223, if you want to do something similar. So I've chopped off the copper cap, put the tube inside, which centrally locates the pin on the brass top. I've also sanded the actual chimney down a little bit around the top, just to get rid of all the tooling marks and ejection moulding marks. So clean that up, sanded it down, and you just have to put the top on, and there you go. Much better, looks so much better than the last one. It's not hollow, so it's just completely metal, and this is a polished bronze top. I think it cost me about £16, so it's not cheap, but certainly looks a lot better. So as you can see, the chimney is now in position with its nice shiny top, and now it's time to add the etch plates, which is pretty much the final thing I'm going to do, apart from all the buffer beam detail like the vacuum pipes, steam pipes, etc. So as I mentioned, all you need is a bit of clear varnish, and I'm using satin varnish by Vallejo. This is acrylic and goes off in a few minutes and dries clear. So all you do, I'm using a cocktail stick, you can use a paintbrush if you wish. Apply a little over where you want it. It's pretty much going on where 655 is. Use some tweezers if you have some, and using the tweezers you just need to place your etch plate where you want it. So it's about in the middle there. Just make sure it's level. Fine to me. You can see there's a bit of varnish leaking out, but as I say, that dries clear, so it won't be a problem. I've also added a builder's plate on the splasher as well. So you can see I've done it on that side. When that dries, that will go off and stay in position, and rotate it around. You can see I've done the other side as well. So we're at the end of the project to convert an A1 Hornby Terrier Stepney to A1X preservation condition Stepney. It's taken a while, but we got there in the end, and there's been some scary moments along the way, like cutting off the front of it, but we got there in the end. So I shall now roll it in for the final reveal. And there we go. One complete A1X Terrier, complete with etch plates, 3D printed copper cap chimney, 3D printed smoke box and bunker rails, and some nice cast crew in the cab as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been quite fun to do something different again, and to show somebody what you want is not always impossible. You just have to do a little bit more work and be a little bit brave in cutting up an 80 quid model. If you're interested in some of these parts, like the 3D printed parts, I can print them off for you if you wish. There is going to be a bit of a cost to it, of course, but not too expensive. So if you're interested, please message me via Twitter or Instagram or my own Facebook workbench page. I'd like to especially thank Gary for pointing me in the right direction. Gary at Oak Hill, that is, on his YouTube channel, for putting me in contact with the people that do the etch plates and various other bits and pieces, which will be very useful later on when I do a few other little bits in the future. So thank you for watching, everybody. I know quite a few people have been interested in this, and hopefully I'll be able to do a few new videos in the near future, inspiring others to do a little bit of modelling. Thanks for watching, and see you again sometime in the next one.